What is up, guys? I'm the Senator, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips designed to help those who may be newer to Rainbow Six Siege. And these are things that I wish that I would have known whenever I started playing this game. Now, this video is by no means one of those videos where I'm going to quote-unquote give you the 3 steps that are going to take you from bronze to plat. But what I am going to share with you in this video will drastically improve the way you play Rainbow Six Siege and the mindset that you have while playing it. This will increase how fast you're able to improve in this game, as well as make you enjoy it a whole lot more. So, enough with the intro, let's get right into it. The first thing that I wish that I would have known when I started playing Rainbow Six Siege is the importance of crosshair placement. Knowing where to place your crosshairs and developing the muscle memory to where your crosshairs are always where they need to be will make getting those instant kill headshots a whole lot easier. So if I were to ask you guys whether or not you think it's more important to have great aim or great crosshair placement, I would assume that most people would think, it's better to have great aim. However, when it comes down to it, if you have good enough crosshair placement, you really won't have to worry about aim. Being able to adjust your aim so that you can move your crosshair from point A to point B is just compensation for having bad crosshair placement. If you always have your crosshair placement at head level on the edge of a doorway where you can expect someone to peek you, then you never really have to worry about aim. Your crosshairs will already be on their heads whenever they decide to peek you. Whereas if you have your crosshairs below head level and you're aiming near the ground, then you have to hope that your aim is good enough to where you can adjust it before they kill you. And I'm not saying that all you need is great crosshair placement to be a great player. That's not necessarily the case. But a lot of people assume that it's all about being able to have amazing aim and being able to flick to their heads instantly. And while that is a skill that we should all try to work on and develop as players, having good crosshair placement will make it to where you're not really put in situations that you have to rely on great aim. So remember, it's a whole lot easier to aim if you have great crosshair placement. So to improve on your crosshair placement, it's as simple as aiming down sights at head level next to the edge where you can expect the enemy to peek. And I say that like it's really simple, but this is something that I still struggle with today. I'll be playing and I'll find myself aiming either too high or too low, and I have to remind myself that if someone peeks me and they have their crosshairs at head level, which you should always assume they do, there's no way that I can win the gunfight. And how you practice your crosshair placements will lead me into my next tip, which is T-Hunt, which is now called Training Grounds for you new players. When it comes to T-Hunt, I feel that a lot of newer players don't really spend much time in it and don't really see the value of working on your aim or crosshair placement or mechanical skills in T-Hunt. And if you're someone who doesn't really want to take Siege too seriously and you're just here to have fun, I don't blame you for not wanting to spend time in T-Hunt. It can be really boring. However, if you find yourself getting frustrated when you get into a game and you can't hit anything, playing T-Hunt for just 15 minutes will really help you get ready for your matches, and you'll see a drastic improvement in your performance. Professional players will spend a minimum, just a bare minimum of 2 hours a day in T-Hunt because they recognize how much more beneficial it is to spend time working on their aim, crosshair placement, and mechanical skills than it would be to just go ahead and jump in a game. And this is something that not only occurs in esports, but as well as other professional sports. Think of baseball players. They have batting practice before a game, and when they have their actual practices, they don't just go out and scrimmage. They have to do drills in order to improve on whatever it is they need to improve on. Whenever I was in high school, I played for the golf team, and I didn't get better at golf by just playing golf. I'd have to spend hours on the range or on the practice green. So the same principle applies here as it would in any other skill or sport. And I honestly don't expect the average player to spend hours in T-Hunt, but playing just a couple of rounds of T-Hunt before you start playing will drastically improve your ability to hit moving targets, and you'll be more confident going into a match. A drill that I like to do is to go into a T-Hunt on house, and I pick Sledge, and I use only his SMG-11 secondary. It's a weapon that has about 17 rounds in it and fires extremely fast. And my goal while using the SMG-11 is to kill 3 enemies before I have to reload. And what this does is it ensures that I take close engagements and I hit my headshots. This is just something that I do, but there are a ton of drills out there that you can find. The next thing that I wish I would have known whenever I started playing Siege was the importance of finding your sensitivity as early as possible and then leaving it on that sensitivity. If you're the type of player that finds themselves changing their sensitivity every week, you will not get better at this game at all. Having great mechanical skills relies on you building muscle memory. okay? And you cannot develop muscle memory if you are constantly changing your sensitivity. And I get DM'd all the time by people asking me what my sensitivity is, what do I play on? And what I tell them every time is, it is irrelevant what I play on. Sensitivity just depends on which each player is comfortable with, as well as the range of motion that they have. So how do you find your sensitivity? Well, if you're someone who struggles with your sensitivity and you're on PC, you should be able to have your mouse on the very left edge of your mouse pad and move it all the way to the right side of your mouse pad. In that movement, your character should be able to do a complete 360. If your character model was only able to do a 270, then you need to increase your sensitivity until you're able to do a complete 360. If you went too far and did a 450, then you need to decrease your sensitivity until you're able to do just a complete 360. And a rule of thumb is that the bigger your mouse pad is, the better. You will have way more control if you have a 15-inch mouse pad as opposed to having a 6-inch mouse pad. And as for you console players, I'm sorry, but I've never played Siege on console, so you'll just have to find a video on how to get your sensitivity. But I will say that whatever you choose to put it on, get your sensitivity to a point where you can do a 180 on a dime. You should be able to shoot someone in front of you and immediately turn on a dime and get whoever's behind you. And that's just a good general rule of thumb. You need to play with it, but once you decide to pick a sensitivity, stay on that sensitivity because, again, as I said earlier, if you change it a lot, you cannot develop muscle memory. The next thing I want to talk about is GameSense. And you can have the absolute best aim in the world, you can have the ability to flick to people's heads instantly. But if you don't have GameSense, then all you'll be good for is those cheesy R6 montages that have terrible rap tracks over them. In my opinion, GameSense is the biggest thing that separates good players from great players. Good players can have great mechanical skills, but great players will have the ability to assess the situation that they are in and make the right decisions in order to get them the win. And I'm mentioning GameSense because it's not something that you can just practice. The only way that you can develop GameSense is by playing as much Rainbow Six Siege as possible. Learning the cause, learning how to set up a defense, learning how to communicate with your team, knowing the roles that you have to take with specific operators, playing the game smart. And that is something that takes time. So don't be upset that you've been playing Siege for 2 months and you haven't hit plat yet. I guarantee that you still have so much to learn. So be patient and just try to have fun because you will eventually get there if you put in the work. The next thing I want to touch on is droning. You have 2 drones. If you die while attacking, it better be because the defenders were able to get both of your drones. Droning will literally save your life, and so many players, not only just beginners, but a huge chunk of players do not drone out. It takes 10 seconds. Before you're going through a doorway, throw your drone in there and make sure there's no one hiding behind the furniture or on the left or the right. Something that simple will literally save your life in this game. And another thing is, don't waste your drone. If you have an idea as to where the defenders are set up, and the more you'll play this game, you will know exactly where they're set up before even droning. Keep the drone at spawn and pick it up when the round starts. Each drone is like an extra life, so make sure that you use it. This next tip is something that I wish that I would have known as early as possible. If your goal is to get better at Siege, stay away from casual. If you just want to go in and have a good time and you don't really care, by all means go play whatever you want to play. But if you're looking to improve, start playing ranked and unranked as soon as you hit that threshold. Because whenever I first got Siege, I played only in casual for the first 7 months. That is 7 months of me practicing bad habits, and I honestly think that's the reason that it's taken me so long to improve, and I'm still trying to improve, and there's still barriers that I cannot get past. So if you want to be able to grind on Siege and actually get better, play in unranked as soon as you hit that level 10 threshold. And whenever Still Wave drops, you'll have to be at least level 50 to play in ranked, but as soon as you hit that mark, start playing in ranked. Steel sharpens steel, and you will not get any better playing in casual. And lastly, this is a tip that not only beginners need to listen to, but everyone who plays Siege or any other competitive video games needs to hear this. Rainbow Six Siege is a video game that you are meant to enjoy. If you find yourself not having a good time, stop playing. This game is not worth having a stroke over. I get that, you want to get better. I get that, you may be sick of being stuck in silver or gold and you just can't get out. I get that. But stressing out about a video game is extremely poor on your mental health. So if you're going to stroke out because you just dropped from gold 3 to silver 1, it's okay, dude. It's just a game. And if you find yourself worrying about your rank too much, go play an unranked. And that's what I find myself doing a majority of the time, because after I play ranked, I'm just so relieved that it's over. And that's not how video games should be. If you're not having fun, it's not worth it. The only time you should ever be concerned about the way you play is if you have the aspiration to become a professional. Other than that, do not worry, just try to have a good time. And I think this is probably the best advice I could give you guys. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope I gave you something to improve on, and I hope you learned something and you got something out of this video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you can be notified every time I post a video. I am the Senator, and as always, have a good one.